Okay, Ray, you're looking good. So,
Thank you.
welcome back to the Specialist Program Series. So great to have Ray back with us today. We always love seeing and talking about the stunning Yukon. So, Ray, over to you.
Thank you, Charlie, and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Yukon. Okay, where is the Yukon? Well, it's just above British Columbia in Canada, inside of Northwest Territories and also Alaska. So it's in that little pocket up on the top, up towards the Arctic region. So most prominent areas being Whitehorse and Dawson City. How do we get there? It's from Vancouver, approximately just over 2 hours flight, and also access from many other cities from within Canada, such as Calgary, Edmonton, Glenona, as you can see there. Also access by road on the highways from both Alaska and from British Columbia as well. And cruising is a focal point into the entry into the Yukon through Skagway, and we'll talk more about that a little later. The most prominent points, I guess, to highlight for the Yukon are Whitehorse, Dawson City, Kluane National Park, and Tombstone National Park. So we'll keep moving and talk about those a little later. First of all, we highlight Whitehorse capital being a city of 28,000, not very many people for a capital city. However, it's a very, very special place. As you can see from that image there, a winter shot, quite beautiful, and has a great range of tourism facilities such as hotels, good lodges, a great array of day tour and activity products available, sightseeing, enormous amount of outdoor activities available. As I mentioned a while ago, daily air access through Air Canada and Air North, who is the airline of the Yukon area. A very important part is the hotel in both Whitehorse and in Dawson City. We have 3 and 4 star hotels. There's a recent addition of the 4 star Hyatt Place Hotel, came into effect about August last year. There's another new resort from the Eclipse Spa Centre opening up in the next 12 months. So there's wilderness lodges and cabins and hostels and camping facilities right throughout the Yukon. The most prominent part of what it's known for, I guess, is aurora viewing, which is August through to April. And we always recommend 3 or 4 nights because being an act of nature, it's not always playing the Northern Lights every night. So it's best to have a couple of nights or extra nights there just to make sure that people get to visit and see and experience those wonderful, wonderful lights. Most tours are out of Whitehorse and also Dawson City. Dawson City has more facilities these days than they had in the past. And of course, being further north, it's more likely you may even get more prominent northern lights and showing that wonderful aurora. Ideal for groups and also for independent travelers. And the tours go from 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. Of an evening during the viewing season. So it's about 20 minutes out of town. The reason for that is to keep away from the city lights, so they get the maximum exposure to the northern lights. And the areas that they operate in are heated yurts with photography assistance and advice, and they all provide excuse me, snacks, etc., on site. Also, northern lights are visible. Most of the lodges have viewing platforms where you can see the northern lights as well. So it's everyone gets to see it away from the main cities. During the daytime, as I mentioned, tours go 10 p.m. usually about 2 a.m. So it's a late start of the day usually. So there's dog sledding, which is very, very famous in the Yukon. These dogs are treated like humans. They're really well looked after, and it's a wonderful experience to go dog sledding. There's a new thing that has happened, which is Mount Sima skiing. Now, a lot of people will travel to Canada to the main ski resorts, but then wish to do a wilderness experience in the Yukon. They can also experience some skiing there as well, which is only 15 minutes out of Whitehorse and has all the equipment, etc., and a variety of activities, including mountain biking in the summer as well as the winter activities. And as you see there, the day passes are very inexpensive. Ice fishing is another very popular experience. Go out there on ski-fitted skidoos out into the ice field, and you'll see the well, you can't see the hole there, but there's a hole for fishing. You can just see it with my cursor if you can see that. And it is a great thing to do and sit out in the elements, beautiful sunshine, usually during the day, and really have a great time. Another highlight is Eclipse Hot Springs, which is a purpose-built series of thermal pools, very, very modern, and they're likely to be opening a new resort there as well for accommodation. So that's just north of Whitehorse itself, and a lovely experience to partake. In town in Whitehorse, there's something which is glass blowing, which is something unusual, but it's a great way for people to go in there, make their own glass ornaments and what have you for themselves, and bring back home for their friends. First Nations is a very, very high prominency in the Yukon. There are many museums, such as the one you see there, McBride Museum, and also there are interpretive centres right throughout the Yukon, highlighting the First Nations histories and artefacts, and quite often there'll be presenters there from the First Nations people highlighting their lifestyles, etc. Great food. The culinary aspect in the Yukon is very good. In both Whitehorse and in Dawson City in particular, a great variety of cafes and restaurants, even a couple of brewing companies there offering a beverage during a bit of spare time. Okay, the winters as well, the Yukon winters, it does get cold, as you can see, down to minus 35 degrees, and clothing rentals are available there. However, it is a drier climate, so it's not an icy cold type of feel. There's no humidity, which means that people can layer and as we all know today, with the type of clothing, it doesn't have to be heavy, thick clothing. It can be light, and as long as it's layered, and people do enjoy getting out and about in the winter time. Clearest and coldest, as it says there, January and February. Also, that's more prominent for the Northern Lights. Summertime, obviously the opposite, 24 hours a day sunlight, and then up to 35 degrees temperature. Absolutely a wonderful time to experience the Yukon and its wonderful, wonderful activities. As you can see, the whole list there, hiking right through to fishing and everything in between, and beautiful vistas, and just a great experience to be out and enjoying the outdoors. Also, wildlife is so prominent up there. 35,000 people only, but yet hundreds of thousands of types of wildlife, from caribou right through to grizzly bears and black bears, and an enormous amount of bird species as well. So a lot to experience there. There's one of our friends, and also the Yukon Wildlife Preserve. It's a wonderful facility which is enormous. It's in a wilderness region out of Whitehorse. It's an area where injured animals are looked after, and they're out in the wild and the elements, and people can go and view from a distance, and so they're well looked after there. And also it's a great way of seeing the type of wildlife available in the Yukon. Okay, beyond Whitehorse, let's look at other areas such as Dawson City. Carcross is where we would go to join down on the trains. I'm sorry, to join the cruise ships as well, and then Kluane National Park, which is about an hour and a half out. Kluane National Park, as it says, a UNESCO site, 1.5 hour drive from Whitehorse. Absolutely spectacular area. All types of activities to participate, including St. Elias Mountains, the world's largest ice fields, or part of it, and Mount Logan is the tallest mountain in Canada, and you'll see there a flight seeing as well available. So great, spectacular aspect there of viewing both the ice fields, and also you'll get to see wildlife as well from the plains. Dawson City, a National Historic Site, as it says. This town has been built on permafrost, so it's undulating, as you'll see from the boardwalks there. Some of the buildings are at angles. They're very, very safe. However, it is just the way of the natural terrain and the frozen ice that is created through the climate. It's also the home of the gold mining of yesterday. There's a casino there and a great entertainment aspect right throughout Dawson City. Great for shopping and dining and excellent accommodations. Let's talk about the gold rush. Back in 1896 was where the gold rush commenced, and also it attracted over 100,000 people in the day. Some people made it, some people didn't, but it was a great activity during the time, and the history is certainly there, and there are lots of demonstrations and panning for gold and a great variety of things that people can experience. Further on, Tombstone National Park, or Territorial Park as it's termed, wonderful, wonderful sightseeing, a combination of lakes, mountains, as you can see there on the Dempster Highway. And then also, of course, in the fall, look at those colours, absolutely beautiful. So that is just a snapshot of what's available in the Yukon. So it is what we call seasons are all seasons, not just Aurora season, but summer, winter, and fall. A great variety of things to do and experience with great accommodations, and also great hospitality as well. So I thank you very much for your time, and look forward to hopefully all seeing you up in the Yukon.
Oh, thank you, Ray. It is such a fascinating destination, like you say, between the seasons. Of course, it's summer solstice and winter solstice this weekend. So the land of the midnight sun is out right now. Loving the wildlife and the northern lights. So many wonderful things in the Yukon. Thank you.